Welcome to another episode of MCC Connects. I'm Mary Jo Griffin. Joining me this month is our Homeland Security Executive Director, Attorney Terry Downs. Thank you, Terry, for joining me today.
Thank you for asking me.
So, Homeland Security, I'm pretty sure, was another one of the trailblazing efforts put forth by Middlesex Community College, in that we probably have the first, if not the only, Executive Director of Homeland Security or a Homeland Security program?
As far as we know, as far as I know, it's the only one of its kind in the Commonwealth, certainly, and probably the only one in New England. It started in 2005 when President Cowan wanted to put together a program that would be of assistance to state and federal law enforcement, fire, rescue, public health officials who actually have to do the Homeland Security work on the ground here inside the United States.
So did you take it on right from the beginning in 2005?
Yes, I started the program. I've been running it since 2005.
So what is your background? How did you end up at Middlesex?
Well, I'm a lawyer by training. I was in the trial court for many years. And after I left the trial court, I worked with a think tank in D.C. that did work, Homeland Security related work on behalf of the White House when the Homeland Security Department had not yet been officially started, and it was working out of the White House. Governor Tom Ridge was the president's special advisor on Homeland Security at that time, and we helped him.
So what is some of the projects, or what is the basic projects, or some of the projects you've done at the college since 2005?
We have had a kind of a dual track where we've worked with public officials and public health officials, public safety officials, I should say, and public health officials on programs that they needed. For instance, we've done forums on improvised explosive devices, brought in experts from the FBI and the state police to explain to paramedics and police officers and firefighters how they work, what they look like, what are the important things to bear in mind when treating patients after an IED detonates and before they get to the hospital, because that's where most of the people don't make it, is in that time frame. We've done trainings on domestic terrorism. We've done trainings on other law enforcement issues. And we do a lot on the public health side on issues that appear to be coming up that have to be addressed on the public health side. For instance, we just did a full-day training in partnership with the Upper Merrimack Valley Medical Reserve Corps. They are now partnering with us, so we're their academic home, on issues in mass casualty sheltering situations, which obviously we're seeing now in the Philippines because of the terrible typhoon that happened. But we've also seen it in the last year as a result of the flooding in New Jersey and New York City.
So just to clarify for the audience, we don't offer a course of study for students to come and learn Homeland Security. You actually are the conduit, or you're what the college is helping the current professionals in Homeland Security or in public safety.
That's correct. So we do just that. We help the people who are already in the field at the municipal, county, state, and to some extent federal levels, the people who work right here in Massachusetts, responding to floods, responding to explosions, responding to terrorist events. So we try to work with them and their chiefs of departments to identify issues that they know are going to be important to them.
You've been out in the forefront, along with State Rep Tommy Golden, in bringing forth the problem in society. I don't know if it's national, but I know it's local, with the opioid addiction, and I think it's becoming more and more national, and a much more national discussion. But I know that when I first came here 5 years ago, that you had started to work on that, and now it's you know, I think it's common knowledge. I don't think that we all know what to do about it yet, but at least it's being talked about, which is always the first phase and the first stage in getting something accomplished, is to first talk about it.
And we've made a lot of progress as a result of the forums that we've done on opioid abuse. A lot of terrific suggestions have come in to elected officials, and some of those have actually been adopted by the legislature here in Massachusetts as law. Certainly Rep. Golden has worked very hard on issues like the prescription monitoring bill. That came along largely because a lot of doctors and pharmacists explained that this would be a really good thing to do, and why wouldn't the legislature consider doing it? And we then found out that a number of other states had already started. And so between the experts locally and the models from other states, the legislature saw fit a couple of years ago to enact a prescription monitoring bill, largely through Tom's efforts, and that all stemmed from, or much of it stemmed from, the work that we're doing together.
Well, our short time is already up. So what I was, as you were finishing up, what I think we might do is maybe have you back.
Sure.
Right around April.
Okay.
The sad 1-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. You can tell us where we've come from a year ago, and we can talk a little bit more Homeland Security.
Be happy to do that.
So thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
Middlesex Community College is a great place to begin your future. With more than 75 degree and certificate programs and hundreds of non-credit courses, Middlesex can help you earn a degree, start a bachelor's degree, or upgrade your skills. And their schedule fits your schedule. They offer classes during the day, evening, and weekends on campus and online. Middlesex Community College, a great place to begin your future. To learn more, visit middlesex.mass.edu.
Welcome back to MCC Connects. I'm Mary Jo Griffin. I'm thrilled now that I'm joined by Diane Lauber, who teaches English as a second language, and we have two terrific students. We have Jaco Gomez and Denzel Jones, both of Lawrence. But the three of you spent a week in Nova Scotia last summer, which this is the first I'm hearing about it, read about it in profiles, but through the Gulf of Maine Institute. So let's start there. Diane, what is the Gulf of Maine Institute?
Well, it's an environmental group that is focused on youth groups that are around the Gulf of Maine. So we often don't think about our geographical area and our connections. We just think of the state we're in or the country we're in. But the Gulf of Maine Institute is really focused on everywhere from Cape Cod and then up through the Bay of Fundy into Nova Scotia. So there are youth groups in Canada and in the US who work during the year on some environmental projects in their local community. And then there's this intensive week where they all get together and then they learn other things during that week, and then they learn from the other groups what they're doing in their local area of that watershed.
So, but you're an English teacher. How did you come to be involved in the Gulf of Maine Institute?
Well, they said that they wanted a faculty advisor for this trip, and I thought, finally, I get to use my other interests and my other work at where I also teach ELL, because my other work is doing environmental education with kids. So they wanted a faculty advisor to go along, and that's how I got connected. And they said, there will probably be a project throughout the year, and so I'm on.
Okay, so now, this is unique because Middlesex Community College students were the first college students. Am I correct?
That's right. There have been high schools, and the areas, well, Lowell really interested the Gulf of Maine Institute, and so they connected with Lowell, both through the YWCA, which is also high school students, and Middlesex Community College.
So they sought us
first,
out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is the first community college, and it's this kind of dual location in Lowell as an urban place to be one of the sites.
Okay, so let's start with you, Jaco. So did you see a flyer? How did you get involved in all this?
Well, I saw they sent it through the Middlesex email. I saw that they sent an email asking for ambassadors that were interested in conserving the environment. As a pilot, they didn't have much information. I went through, I had to fill out an application and I went to an interview. I was interested because I've always been interested in helping the environment and being environmental friendly, but I never really had the opportunity or the means to do it, so I just thought, why not doing this?
And what about you, Denzel? What got you involved in
For-
the 1 week in Nova Scotia?
Well, for me, like Jaco, I saw it through the student newscaster through the Middlesex email. When I was reading it, 'cause I always like to check my emails when it comes to different things, because you never know what's going to happen.
I like that. Don't forget the student newscaster as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, like, we were sitting in the Multicultural Center, and I was going through my email, and I'm like, Jaco, did you know they're giving out a trip to Canada? So he goes onto his email and looks at it, and we're just reading it, and we're like, let's apply for this. So we did the application, then we went through the whole interview process. But for me, I actually wanted to do it because leadership is an important thing that everybody needs to do, and everybody does it whether they know it or not. So I felt like just taking the initiative and just stepping forward to just to do something like this, to represent Middlesex, to actually be the first college to be a part of this, and just going there. And so applying, then having the interview, then we had like other meetings. We got to meet the students from the YWCA and just getting connected, and it was basically a fun time too.
So you spent a week at the summer intensive conference. Tell me what that meant, what you did.
I've never been on a field trip, and so that was interesting, going in a field trip with people that I met before but didn't really know. So like spending 2 days with them and getting to know them, it was like really interesting, and how close we became after this trip. I think after the week when we got to Nova Scotia, we were separated in groups, so I wasn't with anyone from Middlesex.
Oh, for the whole week?
Yeah, well, yeah, through the projects that we were doing there, I wasn't with anyone from Middlesex.
Okay.
But I was with people from Nova Scotia, and it was good to to know new people.
Denzel, what part of the institute did you participate in?
Initially, I was going to be part of the Drifters.
And what's a drifter do?
So a drifter is actually I guess you could say it's a tool that is set out into, well, when we did it, it was set out to the Bay of Fundy, and
Right
it
here.
basically tracks like the water currents that's going. So I was initially supposed to do that, but then when going to Canada, we had to take a ferry, and I never knew if I was seasick or not. So I ended up getting seasick on the ferry. So I ended up leaving that group and joining the photography
Oh, wow.
team. So, and I had an interest in taking pictures too.
Okay.
So being a part of that team, what we did, we were basically just telling stories through the different projects that other students were doing. And we did like a couple of exercises by going to like, I guess you could call it like a little garden area that they had on Acadia University, which is where we stayed at.
Okay.
We went through there taking pictures. We joined the other teams, doing pictures again. Like we just
So you got to see what every team was doing because you were the photographer. Okay, well, Diane Lauber and Jaco Gomez and Denzel Jones, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing some more about the Gulf of Maine Institute and the zero waste. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Middlesex Community College is a great place to begin your future. With more than 75 degree and certificate programs and hundreds of non-credit courses, Middlesex can help you earn a degree, start a bachelor's degree, or upgrade your skills. And their schedule fits your schedule. They offer classes during the day, evening, and weekends on campus and online. Middlesex Community College, a great place to begin your future. To learn more, visit middlesex.mass.edu.
Welcome back to MCC Connects. I'm Mary Jo Griffin. Joining me now is our Chief Technology Officer, Brad Yoda. Thank you, Brad, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
So I just so the folks know that the way institutions can handle their technology needs are two different ways, in-house and contracted. You are Middlesex Community College's Chief Technology Officer. However, you are actually contracted to us from a company called CampusWorks.
That's correct, yeah.
So what is the benefit? Now, Middlesex is a public entity, so the public has a right to know and should know. What is the benefit to having CampusWorks provide Middlesex Community College's technology?
Well, as you know, technology is moving very quickly. There's always something new to work with and install and train on and all of that kind of thing. In order to hire that kind of expertise in-house, you'd have to hire a database administrator, you'd have to hire a trainer, you'd have to hire any number of positions, and it's too expensive to maintain that in-house. With CampusWorks, we have a pool of experts that will come in just specifically for a project and leave, and then I'll bring someone else in for another project, and then they'll leave as well. So for fixed cost, you don't have to hire all of the people that you might need over the years and try to maintain on staff.
But we do have a staff.
Right.
We have a fairly large
We
techno-
supplement that.
Okay.
We supplement that. We usually take a leadership role, in my case, it's the Chief Technology Officer, and project leadership. People who have been through installations and been through some of the technology before already, we'll bring them in when we need to.
The new website that launched a year and a half ago.
August of
Were
last
you-
year.
August of last year. So was that a major project of CampusWorks?
That was, CampusWorks was here, and it was part of that. That was an all-college project. Vice President Linehan, he was a real cheerleader in that, and President Cowan, of course, was as well. But it was a college-wide project. Those kinds of projects involve people from all parts of the college, because lots of people have opinions about how a website should operate and look and all of that kind of stuff, and you don't want to exclude anyone from that process. So that project lasted about 18 months. I came on about a year into it, and just for the implementation piece. But prior to me being here, the college was holding, with the help of a third party, a vendor, focus groups and conversations about what was needed on the website, what they wanted to see, how they'd like to use it, that kind of thing, because it is the public face of the college now.
Right. The other public face of the college that I'm going to refer to now is our new mobile app that was launched in September.
Right.
And I launched last night.
You're a late adopter, how's that?
What?
You're a late adopter.
Yes. So I went to the App Store on my iPhone. So does every type of a phone, and I guess the only other type would be not the BlackBerry, the Droid-based, do they have an App Store that they can get the same app?
They have something similar, yeah. The Play Store is Play Store, I believe is what it's called on Android. But yeah, the Android, the iPhone, and BlackBerry also has a version of it, although BlackBerry is not a very big market share. The company that we've worked with is working on a Windows-based phone too, because they're gaining some market share as well.
Yes, they are.
So for essentially platforms in the smartphone arena, and then the same in the tablet arena. So you could go with a tablet and download the same thing and have that experience, that mobile experience as well.
Well, Brad Yoda, who is our Chief Technology Officer, we love having you at the college, and we hope you're with us for a very long time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of MCC Connects. Please join me each month so that you too can be connected to Middlesex Community College.